Scammers on social media, a growing trend from catfishing people to befriending you on dating apps and then try to sell you cryptocurrency. To discuss all things social media for your business, we're joined from the Sunshine Coast by Dr. Karen Sutherland from the University of the Sunny Coast. How are you doing?
Yeah, well, thanks. How are you? I hope you don't mind. I'm actually doing my first TikTok live at the moment, so you can sort of see the
Hello
camera.
to TikTok. I still have no idea how it works, but excellent. Are we up to 300 million followers yet or not?
Not quite. I passed 1,000 yesterday, which means now I can do live videos. So I'm really on there just to learn it so I can teach my students and other people. So that's
What have you
my
picked up
goal.
so far?
What do I have picked up? Well, it's around the way that you construct your videos. It's about using sort of trending music and different trends that are going on. But also,
Oh wait, have we got some trendy music going underneath us right now?
I don't think so. Do we? I could sing for you. I'm not sure that would work.
Well, it might boost your TikTok followers. Who knows? Who knows? But it does seem to be what you're doing right now is what a lot of businesses are doing, right? So we've heard from a couple of the larger businesses talking about how they're actually giving a big energy provider. Actually, I was reading an article about yesterday was saying they've given up on market research. They're actually now on TikTok trying to find out what the market actually wants and getting ideas for trends, etc., for their marketing campaigns.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, a lot of the music, some of the music's actually from emerging artists as well, and they sort of blow up after it becomes a well-used track on TikTok. And looking at different, like really a 15-second video is the best way to go on there, and telling us, it's all about storytelling at the end of the day, isn't it? And just doing that in a way that works well within the medium. So,
yeah, we've got a TikTok video up right now on the screen, as you can probably see. That our director has, I think this is from his personal collection.
Very good.
There you go.
The biggest misconception is that it's for like teenagers who mime videos, and that is on there, absolutely. But like the demographic of like older people from, I don't know, 25 to 35 is really starting to take off, and businesses are on there now, and they're actually sharing useful information that's actually problem solving. There's a heap of digital marketers on there, and just people just sharing what they know in little bites of information. Yeah. And the most important thing about that I've learned from experts is about being niche, and picking that niche and sticking to it, and that's how you grow your audience.
Yeah, very much so. We've seen that TikTok's actually about to open an Australian office with about 12 people covering everything from marketing. So they are a Chinese platform, but they do seem to be here en masse. And when I speak to my friends these days, they've given up on Snapchat. They've moved on from Instagram. Instagram has now become a kind of work PR thing for them, a little bit like LinkedIn, but for their friends who they work with. As opposed to LinkedIn, which is people you don't know quite often. But then TikTok's become their personal playground.
Yeah, and I know my own habits. I've definitely shifted. Like, I spend way too much time on TikTok these days. I think one of the real measurements for me is when classes start in a few weeks, and I ask the students about it, because at the end of last year, maybe one or two were on there. So it'll be interesting to see how many have adopted it over the summer break.
I'm downloading TikTok right now on my iPhone. First time I've done this. I have been doing my best. I'm one of those people, Karen, who likes to say, no, I won't do that. I'm too cool for that. And then I'm about the last person on there complaining that I've got 3 followers. So I guess what would you be saying to a lot of those conservatives out there who are a little bit, I guess, cautious? They feel like they've got so much social media. Do you shut off one, or do you just keep adding?
It's about where your audience is. Like, really, if you're really strapped for resources, go where your audience is and do that platform really well. So that's my advice on that one. You don't have to be everywhere, but you have to be where the people are that you want to connect with. That's the most important thing.
Well, the good thing for everyone on there is they won't have to hear me sing, because as per usual, I can never remember my password. So there goes TikTok for me.
Cool. I'm sorry to divert the conversation. We're actually here to talk about scammers. So
yeah, let's talk about scammers, because that is quite prevalent. But you've had an experience just recently.
I've had 2. One was from email, and then one was from this woman who, her son contacted me over the break, where she had built up an amazing audience of about 42,000 people on her Facebook business page. And then someone had contacted her that she didn't know, saying, I can help you with Facebook ads. And I don't know what happened, but they were added as an admin, and then they reduced her level of access, and there was nothing she could do. So in the end, they hijacked her page and her audience, and she couldn't post anything. She couldn't do anything. I helped her, and we contacted Facebook multiple times using multiple different ways, and there was nothing ever done. And
that is disgusting, isn't it? I mean, these big organisations who essentially have been killing off local media who do have people in place that if something like that were to happen, that you would be able to contact your local newspaper and say, there's something wrong with my ad, etc. And now they've essentially taken over from Silicon Valley as few jobs as they possibly can. We're all being told about AI, etc. being the way of the future, but we all know that when you're in trouble and you go to these tech companies, you might as well just put your head in the sand because it's what they've done.
I think if you spend a lot of money with them, I think you have a bit more clout. But I just think they're not big enough. Like, they don't have enough staff to cover all the issues that can arise. And that's what I think. There's billions of people on that platform, and I don't know how you can actually really have enough staff to help with the issues that arise. And so this poor woman, like, she ended up just creating another page, and she's had to start again because of that. So my advice is, don't let anyone be an admin on your page. There's different levels of access you can give them. If they were just looking, you can just give them access to do ads. You can give them access to analyze your data, which means they can't post or do anything. But really educate yourself about that before you give anyone access. And if they stop working for you, get them off the page immediately. So you just
the
don't
scammers
know.
though, they're all over the place, aren't they? Like, there are people that I know who are on dating apps or Bumble, etc., and they find themselves talking to someone who seems to be quite attractive. They're quite chuffed that off they go and this could be the love of their life, when all of a sudden they get asked, are you into trading currencies? And they think, that's a very strange question. I'm a school teacher.
Also multi-level marketing, you know.
That's it, exactly. Go to where your market is.
You think they're your friend, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, well, it's
all
coming.
Of a sudden you're buying Bitcoin.
Yeah. And I mean, the dating app in terms of sort of catfishing and things is a huge problem. Also, some people are being targeted on places like LinkedIn and other social media platforms when they're looking for work. And what they're often encouraged to do is to send, say, their passport, a copy of their passport.
Oh, great idea.
And sometimes they have to pay for the application, and because they're so desperate to find work, sometimes then their thinking goes out of the window and they do it, and then it's then identity fraud happens as a result.
It's pretty hard for authorities to be able to clean up the mess, isn't it? Like, we've seen so many people.
Totally.
I myself have had a call from the pretend ATO saying that I'm in very big trouble, etc. And you just, like, you kind of at the start, you go along with it because it comes from a number in the ACT. You think, well, that's Canberra. That must be where the ATO is based. And then off you go. And then when thousands of people are getting these calls, you're thinking, why are they not being shut down? How come we don't have the ability in this country with all of our agencies, etc., to be able to quickly find where is this coming from, walk in and arrest these people? But it just doesn't seem to happen. So it must come back down to ourselves and protecting ourselves.
Absolutely.
But a lot of people are vulnerable, particularly when it comes to things like dating apps.
Oh, absolutely. Because, I mean, if you're lonely, like, you just want to meet someone, and people play on that. They're getting more crafty as well. So an example happened to me this week. This was via email. So someone had, they'd obviously looked at the university website where I worked and found information of who is in our school. So they looked at, they created an email account using the first part of my boss's email address, but created a Yahoo account. So if I was in a rush and just saw that, I would think, if I didn't look closely enough, I would have just done what they said. They also recreated his email signature and sent me an email saying to me, because they knew I reported to him, saying, are you free? And it seemed like a really sort of, like it's something needed to be done very quickly. And a little bit of an exchange, they asked me to go and buy Google gift cards and they said they'll tell me where to send them. They'll get the office to reimburse me when I come in.
I bet they will.
And then it just sounded sus. So I texted my boss and said, did you want to talk to me? And he's probably thinking, I don't know what you're talking about. And he didn't respond. But then I just called him and said, is this legit? And he's like, no. So I passed it on to our ITS and security people, and they shut down the access of that email address.
It is funny to be in a world where you phone the ATO and you're on hold, for example, and they have a little voice person message saying, at the ATO, we will never ask you to buy Google cards or iTunes gift cards. It's the same when you walk around Coles, you hear the same thing in the shopping centres these days. It seems almost as if they can't do anything about it, so they'd rather advertise that you shouldn't be paying any attention.
Yeah. So, but this was like, they'd obviously done their research, so you've got to really really look at things, and because I know we get so busy, particularly with email, you get inundated, and so often if you're too busy to really look, you could get scammed. And they targeted other people in our school as well. They used my name, they used everything, on there. So, they're taking their time, because it must be very profitable when they do actually scam someone.
How are we going for view numbers on TikTok?
We're down to 0. we had a few before, and I think, I think once this conversation shifted from TikTok, I think we lost them.
All right. So once we started giving advice, now that's some pretty keen advice, isn't it? Once you start telling people what to do, they quickly switch off when it comes to TikTok and social media. So I think it
needs to be 15 seconds. You got to do it in 15 seconds.
Right. So my show should just be a whole bunch of 15-second interviews. That might take me a little bit more time to organise every day, I think.
Yeah.
But that is a key point there when it comes to TikTok, trying to get the message out and trying to be, if you're a business, the ones that I have seen, and as I say, I've just downloaded TikTok now, but the ones that have been put before me, the funnier and the cleverer, the more likely you're willing to feel good. And that kind of works for advertising right across the board, doesn't it? So if you're a company looking to use TikTok, would you see it as research? Would you see it as marketing and advertising? How would you kind of look at it in terms of its potential to help?
I would go through stages.
Let's get those numbers back up by talking about TikTok.
I think you need to spend a long time first researching before you post, and just working out what are the videos that work well, what are the ones that aren't. The main aim is really to get it shown to a big number of people, and it goes through different stages. So if you create a video, it's shown to like a smaller number of people, maybe a few hundred, and then if they interact with it, well, then they'll show it to more people. So it's only get that first impression for it to go well. For me, like I've been lucky that my name is actually Karen, because on there, Karen is the woman who always wants to speak to the manager, and so I've really played on that. I've played on that, and the videos where I've done something about Karen in them, they've actually gone better than the ones where I give advice. So
if I put a K at the start of my name, I'll be all right as well on TikTok.
Yeah, maybe. Right. You could be the male version of Karen, yeah.
All right. We will talk to you soon, Dr. Karen Sutherland. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you. Bye.